Let her conquer fear and fall like a sword. I run into the heat of day, like a knife I fight until the fight is won. In the rain I save each and every one till this war is won.
Assassin's Creed 3 Benedict Arnold DLC. It's a pack that I expected to come out of Ubisoft after I turned the box over and saw the touted label in the corner announcing its existence. An hour of content for the PS3 and PC versions of the game. Cool, I thought at the time. Ubisoft was continuing its relationship with Sony and releasing another free DLC pack for AC3. That should be a lark or so, right? Obviously not. I had memories of the Copernicus conspiracy and how lazy and slapped together of a quest line that was throughout AC Brotherhood, so I wasn't expecting the world, but then I ran into a bit of a problem with my original thinking once I got to the counter-hacking epilogue quest that's complete gibberish at the end of Assassin's Creed 3. The Benedict Arnold DLC is not free like the Copernicus conspiracy assumedly was, although I did buy Brotherhood as a bundle on the PSN store, so who knows. Not this time though. Benedict Arnold is going to cost the player $5, and remember, this is Ubisoft's estimation of its product being worth $5, so whether or not it's worth it to you is tossed up into the air like the world's worst kickball team. I hope that whatever fee Ubisoft got for providing Sony this exclusive DLC was worth it, because for that reason alone is why the Benedict Arnold DLC is gated off to the Microsoft community. That's a whole bunch of rabid Creed fans who would have immediately stumped up the money to Ubisoft because they are used to paying for shallow baby's first sandbox games that'll give you pointless awards hand over fist as long as you don't abandon it literally for anything else more interesting. You know who I'm talking about. So while I keep my opinion hidden for now, let's talk about what you're getting from Ubisoft's bargain bin. From the title, the game is entirely about the one great moment of Benedict Arnold's life, his betrayal of the fledgling American military at West Point, an important fort for the Patriots to secure the Hudson from their overbearing King George. Benedict Arnold was the man in charge of the fort at the time that Washington decided to have Connor randomly bump into him on their way to New York town. Washington fears that a spy has infiltrated West Point with their eyes on Arnold to poke holes in the Patriots' ability to secure the colonies from the regulars. Connor arrives at the nick of time to save Arnold from his would-be assassins and begins routing other suspects from their hidey holes. Connor will tail, chase, and interrogate some others while temporarily working with Washington. However, with the final spy being shunted towards his inevitable demise after a long tailing mission through the frontier's cornfields, Mr. Andre of Britain leaves the Patriots with a bit of bad news. Andre was following up on the British attempt to bribe Arnold into giving over West Point to their cause for the meager sum of 20,000 English pounds. And after a few calculations, we figured out that that is equivalent to $2.5 million in today's money according to the ever-reliable internet. So maybe we can have a better grasp on why he did that. I mean, if the poor sod had to pay down debts by selling out his superiors, well, that's a pretty hefty sum, mate. Anyway, Connor takes the bribery confirmation letter from Andre and runs to West Point to present it to Arnold, who blows it aside. Thankfully for him, the Battle of West Point broke out at that exact time, and I will say that Ubisoft did have the idea to turn the battle into an actual set piece by adding in some tower defense elements, but it completely bombed. All Connor has to do is counter-kill his way through useless, infinitely spawning minions until the game tells him to stop. Thank Christ it did, since I don't think I could have taken more of killing the same enemy over and over again. In the confusion, Arnold escaped to Britain, and Washington comes to lament that fact with an unapologetic Connor, probably from the idea that the new America decided to sell his Indian land without telling him about it. Shame how that didn't work out for the newfound Congress. And that's it. The whole $5 of your hard-earned money gone on that racket. You know, it would have been nice for Ubisoft to have included a moment or two from the Battle of Saratoga to get us somewhat invested in the Benedict Arnold character before he started becoming an assassination target, but that thing would have required effort, and Ubisoft had to shit this thing out as quickly as possible to get the best ROI on their little deal with Sony. Yeah, that whole hour claim on the box is only there because 45 minutes didn't sound as impressive. It's exactly the same as the Copernicus conspiracy. Ubisoft decided to model a historically significant character into the game, surround it with cheap cookie-cutter missions from the main game with the same enemies in the same sandboxes, and then calls it a day. At least I didn't have to pay extra for that. Here, Ubisoft apparently called it a premium extra needed by all PS3 players to get the full experience. Laughable, considering nothing about it touches the main game and West Point itself may be a sandbox exclusive to this DLC, certainly nothing important from the main campaign happens right here. The main game's optimization problems on the PS3 are not worth the hassle when you can play a more stable 360 port of this game and lose absolutely nothing on this half-cobbled together trash just so Ubisoft could cash the $300,000 check from Sony for being on its little payroll. It's a total waste of time, effort, and investment in the franchise to see this lazy mess. It's such a crap pile that it doesn't even constitute a full chapter of content, just half of one. 4 missions to go on, and it's all shit that Connor was already doing in the main campaign, so you're basically tossing money down a hole for the sheer glory of repeating yourself in a much more boring environment with cardboard characters. It's nice to see that entrepreneurial, pre-profiteering attitude is still alive and well at the old French HQ, Ubisoft.